SportsMe, what's going on? It's your boy Rumboys Robbie, representing the SportsMe app. Welcome to Daily Cash Games, where you guys get to debate and win cash on daily topics. Today's topic, in a Super Bowl showdown, we would love to know here at the SportsMe app, who wins? The 2007 Peyton Manning-led Colts or the 2008 Eli Manning-led New York Giants? Inquiring minds want to know. Go ahead and drop your take and let's debate. Have fun, y'all.
Am I even eligible? I don't even know if I'm eligible. But if I am, and I don't know if I am, this isn't even a question. One of them beat the greatest American athlete of all time twice in the championship. The other one did not. And so the person who did that is the person who I'm picking. And you might think it's the other guy, unquestionably, but it's not. His little brother is more clutch than he ever was.
Jeff, I hear you, man, but I'm taking Big Brother on this one. I'm not taking Eli. I'm taking Peyton, especially because he won my boys a Super Bowl, too. Shout out Denver. That Super Bowl parade was lit. And if you take away the helmet catch, he only did it once. That was the craziest shit I'd ever seen. Give me Peyton in 07 over Eli in 08. I don't know what old Daily Cash Games is, but this is a good take. I like this.
I'm going to go with the Colts because I think Peyton Manning was better than Eli in his prime. And I feel like both those years were prime years for both quarterbacks. I think Peyton Manning was the better guy under center than Eli, even though Eli did have some great seasons. It's funny, both these guys are like in the era of quarterbacks that weren't very mobile. They aren't very mobile. I'm going to go with Peyton because of the arm. But today, quarterbacks like that don't exist.
I'm going Peyton and the Colts over the Giants and Eli, but it's not going to be as easy as I think it might sound. Yes, Peyton taught Eli just about almost everything he knows how he was going to quarterback and run that game from the offensive side. But that Giants defense was terrifying. I mean, I don't think Ed James would have a solid opportunity to run on that game. But I think the difference would be Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne and Peyton's ability to kind of find those guys and fit those seams.
More than sports me, it's a good question. Statistically, they're both pretty even across the board record-wise. I mean, I like the offensive pieces a lot better on the 07 Colts than I do the 08 Giants. And when it comes down to it, man, the game is on the line. Peyton over Eli, Dungy over Coughlin.
I'm going with the 08 Giants. 08 Giants were built around that defense. The defense was able to shut down one of the best offenses ever to play the history of football. So they will have no problem against the 07 Colts. So the 08 Giants would have won the Super Bowl against the 07 Colts. Because if they could beat one of the best offenses ever that we ever seen in the history of the game, they will have no problem against the 07 Colts.
I'm going Peyton Manning and the Colts by 40. They would crush that Giants team. The Giants team barely got into the playoffs that year. Eli Manning, the most overrated athlete in the history of American sports, has no business in the Hall of Fame, has no business in any conversations for accolades. He got to the league on his last name alone. He was never that good. He made 2 good throws in his entire career. He got 2 rings because of his defense. Colts all the way here. Peyton.
Hey, Dave I'm going with the Giants. They beat what would have went down as the greatest team of all time. Defense was clutch, shut them down. And let's not remember, the Colts team that won only made it to the Super Bowl because Jabbar Gaffney dropped a wide open pass that would have sealed the deal for New England in that AFC title game. So I'm going with Eli, undefeated in Super Bowls, the most disrespected quarterback of all time. It's crazy.
As much as I would like to say that Eli could probably beat his brother in a Super Bowl, I don't know. I'm looking at this roster for the Colts 2007. That defense from Robert Mathis to Dwight Freeney to Bob Sanders, Kelvin Hayden, Antoine Bethea, like pretty solid defense right there. Gary Brackett at linebacker. I don't know. I got to go Peyton on this one. I just think I got to go Peyton.
What's going on? Coach Craig here, and this is a very, very interesting discussion. But before I get started, just want to talk about whoever's saying Edgerrin James. He wasn't even on the Colts at this point in time. It was Joseph Adai. So, very interesting matchup overall. If Bob Sanders is healthy, Colts win this game. no question about it. But the year they won the Super Bowl, Bob Sanders only played 4 games. Next year, he was the Defensive Player of the Year. So Bob Sanders, difference maker in the game. And then Adam Vinatieri kicking those field goals. He could be another difference maker as well.
I don't know who did it, but someone mentioned the defense from the 07 Colts. I mean, did we forget the Patriots have Vince Wilfork, Teddy Brucci, Rodney Harris, Asante Samuel, Ellis Hobbs, and Mike Vrabel? Acting like the Colts defense is one of the all-time greats or something. Did we forget the offense the Patriots had? Moss, Welker, Kevin Falk, Troy Brown, Ben Watson, Tom Brady. Not to mention Tom Brady's better than Peyton Manning.
So I'm just going to put it out there because I think it might get brought up. I was 8 and 9 years old when both of these teams were playing. I don't really know too much about the 07 Colts, but I know a lot about the 08 Giants because I watched them ultimately beat the 18-0 Patriots. And everybody's brought up how, their defense was incredible, which I completely agree, because they took down the greatest offense maybe in NFL history. But they're forgetting how good that Giants offense was too. I'm ultimately going to say the Giants.
All right, man. So for me, both defenses were really good. I can't see Eli being able to do much against that Colts defense with the pass rush. And then on the other side of the ball, the Giants get to Peyton, then he's going to struggle as well. But for me, it comes down to Peyton. As a big brother myself, there's no way in hell I'm letting my little brother beat me, especially on a big stage like that. So big brothers all the way, not letting little brother win whatsoever.
What's up, Robbie, Jeff, everybody? This is a pretty interesting question. I actually had to take a couple minutes to think about it, but while I wanted to side with Jeff and go with Eli and the Giants, I really, really feel like I've got to stick with Peyton here. He's the better quarterback at that time. No disrespect to Eli, but those were some fluky wins, but I'm taking Peyton. Peace, guys.
Yeah, I don't really think it comes down to quarterbacks here. I know it's kind of about Manning versus Manning, but at the end of the day, it really has to do with the Giants' defense. I think that's the determining factor in it. That's why I'm giving it to New York. The Giants' defense, when they were at their best, was an unstoppable force that created all hell for quarterbacks. Obviously, we saw that in the Super Bowl that year. So I have to go Giants just because of their defense.
I think Iggy hit the nail on the head best. I was very young when these two teams were a thing. I am completely giving you the most biased answer I can when I say the Colts, because I am basing this answer completely off of who I thought was the better quarterback, and it's definitely got to be Peyton Manning. I feel like 08 was one of his prime years. Man, was he good.
It's the Colts for me in this one. The Giants were ranked 17th in points allowed to opposing offenses during that season. They happened to be on a hot streak in which they rode the playoffs and didn't allow more than 20 points. However, this game being played in a vacuum like it would have to be negates the hot streak. That's Colts offense, though, was battle-tested throughout the season. We saw them beat the Ravens, the Pats, and the Bears, who were ranked 1, 2, 3 in points allowed to opposing offenses. Could be argued that that Bears team that Peyton beat had a better defense than that Giants team that won the Super Bowl with the...
All right, this is a tough question. But in that year, the Colts were 12-4, third in passing, and third in total yards. And Peyton Manning tied for the league lead in touchdowns. The Giants were 10-6, 14 for points, 16th in total yards. They barely got into the playoffs. Yes, they beat the Patriots, but Peyton Manning and the Colts would have won. Let's go.